So I've been a little inspired by your very personal blogs. So I'm going to share a bit of a personal story here. So there was this girl, a couple of months, I was sort of, we were doing the Bombay thing, we do movie dinner. And, 2 months into it, I'd keep calling her home after the movie, and she never wanted to come. And so once I asked her, what's happening? Why aren't you accepting my invitation to come over? And she said, Anand, it's not you. It's got nothing to do with you. It's my fault. And the reason is because I've been watching too many Karan Johar movies when I was very young. And then...
What does that mean? What did she want you to do?
No, but then we went to watch Kapoor and Sons, and my job was done. Right?
Why? Because Fawad turned out to be gay in the end. What does the story mean, Anand? You have to explain.
No. The story means that no one has adapted in the last 15, 20 years as a filmmaker much as you have.
Right.
You've gone from loving your family to sort of very dysfunctional families in Kapoor and Sons. So I don't know of any other filmmaker who's been able to adapt so much in all these years. How do you do it?
I think it's... firstly, thank you very much for being here today. And thank you, Anand. Thank you, Shubhra. Thank you for inviting me today. And it feels great. To answer your question, we moved our office from Bandra to Andheri recently. When I moved to Bandra, we released... our first film that we released is Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham. And we all know the syntax of that film. And the last film that came out of the Bandra office was Kapoor and Sons. And we know the syntax of that. So that pretty much explained the evolution of our 16 years in our Bandra office. We evolved. That's because the people around... I allowed myself to evolve as a result of the people that surround me. I think it's important not to be deluded, to always be relevant, to always connect with your audience and know what's right or wrong with your movies, to read critics and see what they have to say, to hear people solidly. Their opinions matter. All opinions do, even if sometimes they're ludicrous, but they matter. You must, and I'm somebody who goes online after every feature film of mine, and Shubhra may have liked 2 of my feature films in my entire career, but what she writes and what she says, I never look at it with any amount of like there is a sense of, sometimes many people have this mentality in the industry of feeling very targeted all the time. And I feel like all critics and all opinions are coming from a solid place. I know when Shubhra writes, she genuinely goes in to see a film that she wants to like. And for some reason, when she doesn't, you have to read why. And then you have to also read why not. So exactly, so that's what I do. I mean, I try very hard every day to connect with an audience and to find out what people like and don't like. And sometimes, at the risk of even going through the filth in social media, you have to kind of filter through that, because there's some really solid things being said on a daily basis. But it's important to know, I don't believe or I don't endorse the kind of human being that actually live, isolated from opinion. And I think the only way to be constantly evolving is to open yourself out to opinion.
So has India changed then? Has India's view of love changed?
Well, it definitely has. I mean, I think cinema in the 90s and the kind of cinema and love and romance that has been projected has always been slightly dramatic, melodramatic, theatrical, aspirational. Raj and Rahul that was created in the 90s is an aspirational lover boy to the generation that grew up watching those movies. Today, he's a lot more scarred. He's a lot more grey. He makes more mistakes. He falters. He fumbles. He apologizes for his mistakes. He's not as heroic as Shah Rukh Khan's wide-armed, open moment of romances. I mean, he's flawed. Like if you see Kapoor and Sons, everyone is flawed. Everyone walks the grey path. And I think the sense of cinema has definitely evolved over a period of time in terms of even the syntax of its characters, its protagonists.
And has your view of love changed as well?
It's gone to being cynical a little bit. For some reason, I don't know why. I think it's because I hear too many stories of when you're single for too long, you surround yourself with too many married people and their problems. And it's really tiresome to walk and, first you want to be a friend, you want to hear the wife, you want to hear the husband, you want to hear their issues, and then you're like, I don't want to know what your problems are because everyone has too many of them, you know, and I really don't want to know. Like that's what drew me to even writing a blog, which we did for NDTV, when I was like, you know, in fact, infidelity is no longer become just like something that was brushed under the carpet and spoken about, you know, behind closed doors. Now, if you want a party, I can stare at the husband when the wife is saying things about her personal life to me, and vice versa, and it's no longer fun. So I think I've just become a lot more cynical about the idea of like good old-fashioned loving.
Forever
you know, it's just
loving.
called, you know, that sense of like, you know.
So I want to ask him if your Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna, which is going to be like 10 years?
Yes,
next
it's
year,
been 10 years. It's already 10 years.
If it had really worked, would your idea of love be in the same, or would you have gone another way, different
Well,
path?
I think when I attempted Kabhi Alvida in 2006, I'm proud of that.
It was I think the one Hindi film that I've seen after Gulzar's Libas, which actually took infidelity and actually ran with it.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that I would open this Pandora's box with it and I didn't realize that people actually put you into a box yourself. So they think I'm the person who made Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham. It's all about loving your parents, and from that to it's all about leaving your wife was making absolutely no sense. I remember Thursday night of that film, I went to see it at a preview. It was a paid preview at IMAX Vadala. And I walked in and at the film screening, and there was a lady and her daughter, and the daughter was weeping copiously. And the woman came up to me and she says, my daughter's husband left her and it's been very traumatic, and I took her out to see a Hindi film to change her mood, and this is what you have made. I thought you'd let chalo Karan Johar ki picture dekhte hain, gaane honge, romance hoga, pyar hoga. And she was weeping. I thought that girl was going to fall. She was crying so much, and I was like, that's when I realized that, my God, this is going to be a problem. And there was actually in the same screening a very traditional couple who were in their 60s watching the film. And the moment Shah Rukh checks into the hotel room with Rani,
Yep.
you know, the wife just turned to the husband, and the husband looked at her and said, dream sequence hai. You know? And when they realized after 2 minutes that it was not a dream sequence, that they were actually going to have sex in the hotel room, it was it. That couple 5 minutes later got up, walked out. And I knew that
That was it.
that was it. That it
Yeah.
was Alvida to Kabhi Alvida.
Yeah, and in the Amitabh Bachchan character, I think up till then he had not been shown in this kind of sexy Sam
I mean,
light.
people in their
So-
60s can be sexy. They can be horny. They can be what they want to be. I mean, you're allowed to feel sexual till whatever age you're allowed to be. Why is it that in our country, we have like, you know, a sex appeal is only restricted to people who can show their six-pack abs and can position around can have gym-trained bodies. You can be 60 and 70 and still feel immensely sexual. There is no problem.
Yeah, but part of it is down to filmmakers like you who will only then take 18 and 20-year-olds, right? So,
Yeah, but why I did take Mr. Bachchan and made him sexy. I mean, I did that too. The thing is that you're lesser credited for some of the brave things you make when some films that have made larger impacts are walking the traditional path. So you're never really given credit for what you do when you do take tiny risks, even if they're tiny.
Sure. Yeah.
Karan, you said that one of the reasons your view of love has evolved is because you've been single for very long. Now, that's one thing you have in common with Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi, is that all three of you have been single.
Right.
Is that one of the reasons that, you know, people who know you call you a workaholic?
I think so. I think that I channel most of my personal life into my work because I don't have a personal. Most of my professional life, you know, is what dominates my life in general. I don't have a personal life. I'm not in a relationship. I have not been in one for several years. And I think that the extra 8 hours of your day that you would actually give to your lover, your spouse, your child, I give to my company. So yeah, I mean, it's not that my concept of I just haven't found it. I mean, everyone says go out there. Look out there. I don't know what that there is. Where is this there? This, you know, this amazing place called there where you can find love, relationship, sex, whatever you want to. I'm done with that. Then they say you travel. Don't you, as if to say that once you take a flight, you can fall right into love with anyone or land up into bed with anyone. Once you go out of Chhatrapati Shivaji or like you're going to find love. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes, you know, you just don't find love in the right places, and sometimes it just comes unannounced and can sweep you off your feet, but that's rare.
So does that make it, you know, take you into a deep, dark, depressed, kind of depressive state? And, you know, you think that it is not meant for you and you'll never find the one?
I'm done with looking, yeah, Shubhra. I can't look anymore. I'm done. Like, I feel like I'm amazing. I should be in a relationship. And I'm just like, oh my God, why am I single? I mean, I have so many amazing things to share and be. I mean, like I would imagine that I would be in an amazing love relationship, and which would be stormy and romantic and full of drama and all these things that I put vicariously. I live vicariously through my cinema. But it doesn't happen. I haven't found it. For some reason, it has always stayed away from me. There's no explanation. It does take you to a dark, gloomy place. There are many lonely nights. There are many lonely evenings. There are many lonely moments in your life when you go through a crisis or a problem. Somehow, no matter how much we kind of crib about our spouse, our relationships, our friendships, but actually they kind of tide us through some really stormy nights, And when you don't have that, you know that your parent is always there, but you don't sometimes just want your parent. You want that love, to kind of comfort you and go on a movie date with, right, Anand?
Not a Karan Johar film, at least on the old ones. No, but so Karan, who do you turn to then? I mean, is it your parent? Is it your friends?
Well, recently it's been my dog. Yeah. I think there's great comfort in the unconditional hug that comes from, I think, your pet. But no, I don't know. I think about that a lot, Anand. I don't have that one person I ever call, because it's a combination of, depending on the circumstance or situation. Sometimes you meet a group of people to make yourself feel better, but I don't have that. What do you call it? A 4 a.m. friend? Yeah, no. I have many, but I don't call that one person. I don't have that one person I can turn to.
And when you said a lot of your time goes in work now, and it seems to me, and so one thing that eludes me about the film industry is that everybody you work with are also people you're friends with.
Right.
And that's, I mean, for me personally, that's really unusual. I mean, I would be very uncomfortable with that. So, I mean, how does that dynamic work for you? I mean, you're friends with the people you're directing, you're hiring them.
That's why we live in a bit of a bubble. Most people in my fraternity do. I mean, they don't know how to go beyond it. Somehow you find film people in any setting kind of drawn towards each other, just talking about their work, just themselves. Everyone's a bit of a megalomaniac in our industry. We can't help it. Everyone's self-obsessed, everyone's deluded, everyone's about themselves, and everybody's about the work they do. And in fact, many people in the movies believe that that's the only profession that exists, which is unfortunate. And I say that, and I feel terrible to say it, but we do live in a bit of a bubble. And and I think that it's unfortunate because we do hang out with each other, we only meet each other because you're kind of public figures. It's tough to kind of go everywhere. And I think you should not take yourself so seriously. Like, I want to do everything. I want to meet new kinds of people. I'd love to be invited to places which are not just film people. I'd love to be there, which is why I take on various invites when I'm called to speak on occasions such as this, or in general anywhere else. I like to interact with people who are not just from my world, because I think we get close as a result of that.
But then how do you react to people, coming out completely out of the blue and asking you something that you're not comfortable with? How would you then
I'm
react?
never not comfortable with a question, because the answer is always in my control.
Okay, then this is, maybe then one can just ask you about, today and the stuff that has been going on, the kind of event and the situation that happened with the Ajay Devgan thing. What would you say to something like that? Because it's like a storm which has been swirling around in so many people's heads and out there in social media. So,
to that I just have to say that my self-respect, my reputation, my company's reputation, and most importantly, my upbringing doesn't allow me to dignify this question with even a response.
Not even?
Yeah. That's all I really want to say on this.
Okay, fine. Okay.
So Karan, but how obsessed are you with social media? I mean, are you always looking at it? Are you staying away from it?
It's a bit of a disease, I think. This Twitter, I'm more Twitter friendly in terms of, I don't see myself I'm not on Facebook. But
you didn't tweet your dog yet, right?
No, I have, of course I have. Okay. Yes. I'm not doing it obsessively, but I have Instagrammed Nobu. But I'm quite obsessive about Twitter. I mean, I see myself in mid-conversation. Sometimes you don't realize that, which is actually unfortunate because we turn to our phones for almost everything nowadays. That if you're while you're talking to somebody, I see myself looking at it, and then I'm still looking, and I can actually multitask, but it's not polite. It's actually really kind of, and you have to check yourself all the time, because now it's become a part of your DNA, and it's really quite and you turn to it to find out everything, how things are, what's happening in the world. It's become my newspaper. It's become my one-stop shop for information on what's happening in the world. But it's a bit too much because you're cluttering your headspace all the time with too many things. I mean, while I said right at the top that opinions matter, but they can't control you, and then information can't rule you. That's what keeps happening when you're kind of obsessed by social media, which I think I'm borderline am. It's a bit of a disease.
But there was a time when you actually got off it. I remember meeting you some years ago when you were seriously trolled for something. It was some years ago.
Yeah, it was a 6-month sabbatical.
Yeah, it was you got off it and you said it is just too much to deal with.
I think then I went through this process where I wanted to disconnect from it, and then it drew me back just like
A magnet.
like a magnet. Yeah, it just brought me right back. And now I'm finding myself again, every time I feel like now I should give up, I should stay away, I should, keep a distance from it. But I'm in the profession. You see, I make multiple movies. I do things that are always requiring me to connect with social media, to either endorse my product, speak about it, platform it, position it. So I'm always part of it. I can't not be now. I mean,
Yeah, but you also tweet about other movies as well,
I do.
So and lots of other your colleagues. So do you actually you've seen all of those films and you?
No, I lie sometimes also. I sometimes tweet about films that I haven't seen, but I say nice things.
Okay.
We can't now start being honest now. I mean, who's honest now? That's ridiculous. You can't be honest at all. We all live in an industry where we have to meet these people at a party the next night. I mean, I can't say your movie sucks and then say, hi, how are you doing the next day? So you can't. Okay. And I find that if I tweet once and I feel I have to do it for everyone I know. So it's a bit of a vicious, and only in my head, I'm the only one who's bothering about all these things. I don't think it's really crossing the person concerned's head as much as it's crossing my head. I'm a bit hyper about, kind of pleasing the world. I've had this miscongeniality problem. It's a childhood thing. I feel the need to kind of always be nice to everybody. I'm trying to tone that down. It's much better now. It's one of my other problems. I have many.
But can you actually be nasty to people?
Oh, yes.
You can? Okay, tell me, give us an example. When was the last time you were like deeply nasty and you cut
behind their
somebody
backs
off?
I thought you were talking about.
No.
Oh,
right
to their
in
face.
Front of me, to their face, yeah.
Oh, that, you have to really piss me off then. I mean, that happens very rarely. Behind the back, I'm amazing. I can be fantastically nasty. But no, to anyone's face, I don't think I've had to kind of, I can't remember being nasty to somebody to their face recently. But sometimes you really want to vent about things and circumstances and situations. You want to say deep, dark, ugly things about people. Yeah.
Karan, one of the things about, and again, you're just known, everybody's your best friend in the film industry, I feel. Everybody's like, you say Karan Johar, everybody has a smile on their face and they feel very fondly about. Is there, any tips you can give us who are, how do you maintain so many relationships?
No one's feeling fondly for you. I don't know. It's who you are. It's your personality pretty much dictates your relationships.
So one of the things...
And I think it's very simple. The one thing I say, you have to give to get. I mean, I think you have to give to every dynamic, every relationship, even if it's a professional one, to get back in return. I mean, I think you just can't expect to be just like receiving without kind of actually giving.
And, you said even the professional relationship, you're known to spoil your talent in your films more than any other production house. Firstly, do you accept that? I mean, you, in terms of payment, in terms of just generally spoiling your talent?
I don't think, I just think it takes very little. It's something that I learned from my father, where he said it takes very little to take care of like people. Because it's like when people are working on your film or they walk into your home or office, hospitality should not be something you should think about so much. It should be organically a part of your DNA. It should be part of your core personality. It shouldn't be something that you need to plan. I don't know how you plan politeness, being tactful or hospitality. All that should be just you. It should be part of your ecosystem. And that's who I am. So when there are people who work for me, I think it's just nice to take that extra bit of time to think about their comfort, their needs, their requirements. It doesn't take a lot of money, or it just takes a lot of thought. And I think that should be just part of who you are.
So, but Karan, do you think that somewhere here the business model of filmmaking is a little broken right now?
We're going through a bit of a crisis, definitely, because I think we're trying to find our feet. We're losing footfalls, and we have increasing budgets. We have, well, what do I say? In the movies, we have a bit of an unstable kind of situation in terms of like there are 6 or 7 movies that really make money in the year, and there are many, many more than that that release. You either have the big event film, or you have the breakthrough film like a Nirja or a Kapoor and Sons, or you have the big event film like Sultan. So, and when you look through the year, you have about 6 or 7 of those experiences, you know, that have happened. The Rustam, the Airlift, Nirja, Kapoor and Sons, which are like a little more of the, like the more evolved cinema experiences. And of course, Sultan, which is both. Like entertaining, emotional, and yet event, because Salman Khan's such a mega movie star. So there are about 6 or 8 names that you'll come up with. With a country that makes so many hundreds of movies, to have 6 or 8 movies that make a mark, obviously the skew is going to kind of shift, and it's going to cause its own kind of storm at the studio levels or at the production levels. And so it's time for us to all reevaluate what we do, how we make it, how much we make it in, and how we plan to position it in the mainstream world.
Do you think stars are getting a little too greedy?
I don't think they are. I think there's a lot of hearsay about just blaming it on the stars. I think it's also, why are you paying them? You can easily renegotiate everything. And I think a star that really wants to do a film, it'll never be about the money. If a star wants to work with a filmmaker or a script that they want to do, I don't know any movie star in contemporary today's times where they would like say, no, I'll take 50 crores and I don't want to do it no matter. If a great script and a great filmmaker is offered, I think any kind of deal can be struck. There can be a back-end deal, there can be a share in profit, there can be a base remuneration to start with. We do different deals on different films depending on the circumstance. But it's when you do sell-out situations, when you overpay for no reason, without any logic, without any feedback or any research made on the kind of film. You know a certain film will do a certain kind of business if you really think about it. All of us, whether it's Yashraj Films, Dharma Productions, some of us who are family-run film businesses have been in the thick and the know of the economic structure of Hindi cinema and cinema, Indian cinema in general. And it's very easy for me, when I immediately plan a film and show me, on a piece of paper I'll tell you the basic recoveries. Just 4 very important figures I'll put down for you. And then you realize whether you should make the film or not and what budget it should be made in. What shocks me is when some people actually don't do that basic mathematic before actually putting a film out. And that's what surprised me. When I see certain films, you know this film can't work economically, no matter what. Because you know the kind of dictates of the audience that have been setting a precedent for before. So I feel that there's just a lot of thought that needs to be put into the structuring, and which doesn't happen all the time.